Shut up. You guys are so annoying. Can you guys just fucking relax for a second? Can you guys just let me discover that I'm muted? They can see you. It's okay.
You're muted.
Thank you. Just let me discover it for myself. No, I'm not still muted. Shut up. Is there a reason why Jimmy is trying to appease Kelley? Because she might be safe. Can you check your mic before talking? How about that? You're getting real comfortable, Katie. With the back talk. Feed cuts today have been crazy. They're probably trying to hide, like, twisty stuff. So, is everyone just supporting me a lot today, or is this a resub day? Because it kind of feels like a resub day to me. We're at 20 months. Jim Pierre, thanks for the 19. Jerry for the 20. Corin for the 20. Indow for the 20 months. Katie, you're 20. GP Eastside, 20. And Allie. All the 20-monthers. That means you guys started with the first month, right? It's pretty good. Marcus Smart to the Lakers on a buyout. It's huge for the Lakers just to get a good perimeter defender. Huge. Vince stockholders are eating good. I mean, in fairness, I think Taryn, alongside the other members of that roundtable and RHAP, people underrated Vince. I think Taryn has a lot of input because of the live feed updates. That's how a lot of people get their information. And I don't think he overstated Vince's poor play, but he ranked emotionally. That's what happened. They just ranked him emotionally, like he's doing well. But thank you, Haley, for the 20 months. When the Bulls are the poor Bulls. Stock watch after less than 1 day of feeds. Yes, but even given the 1 day of feeds, you know. Look, I think Taryn's great at what he does, but, like, that was an emotional ranking. I think he admitted as much. Cory, it should have been you or America to play for Keanu. Are you Keanu's number one op? That's the only explanation. I think Rachel's going to try to convince Jimmy to put Vince up. I don't think that'll be effective. Do you think there's any chance that Kelley's veto she can win is a diamond power veto? Maybe. I don't know. Would you give Zach a 9 or 10 for this week? No. I think he was overrating Zach quite a bit too, but I think he's in a good spot. I think here's the thing. I get it because he has his power. If he didn't have his power, I think it's a whole different ranking for me, for Zach. Is Jimmy actually going to renom Amy? I mean, didn't Amy just talk about wanting to quit, y'all? Matt Lagori, Cory's Stockwatch rankings when? I used to do them on stream, just when they would release the form. I probably will do them whenever I'm streaming. But yeah, I'm impressed every time I see Zach talk game. Yeah, he's very level-headed. I don't think he's a bad player whatsoever. I just think, like, he needs to learn the game quicker than he's learning it, you know? Because he is all fundamentals. Kelley said that she could not name the replacement. Yeah, I think it's just janky veto, is my understanding. Amy blaming Rachel today was fucking crazy. Yeah, I mean, how the fuck does Rachel win this season? You know what I mean? The good thing for Rachel is they kind of want to bring her to jury, which is like final 9, which by that point maybe she could figure something out, but they're really anti-Rachel. And can I make I'm a hater, I guess. Can I be honest? I want Amy to leave. She's so boring and gives me nothing, and dare I say, a floater. Parentheses, derogatory. Like, she's a floater. She's a player I don't care about. I don't care. I feel like I've been on this wave for a while, and people wanted Amy to stay because they were anti-Zay, which I understand, and pro-Rachel, which I understand. I'm anti-Amy. I'm perfectly good with Amy dipping immediate. Here's my hit list. Amy, Kelley, those are my top 2, and then Riley. And I'm down for Riley to leave before Kelley. Kelley is my least favorite house guest by a lot, by a large, hefty margin. But she's providing more. I don't like what she provides, but I like what she's providing more than what Riley's providing. Riley just gives fucking nothing. He's just annoying. It's a huge pet peeve of mine when there's players who don't want to win. That's it. Because here's the thing about Kelley. I liked Kelley a lot more when she started crying about throwing herself on the block. That was good for me. Because that tells me, unlike Tucker, and the reason why Tucker was able to play the way he played, first of all, he's a comp beast, Tucker did not care about winning the game or making it far. Tucker was trying to get evicted at times. You know what I mean? Tucker was talking about quitting the most out of anyone that season, except for Kenny, obviously. Kelley wants to be there and wants to be in the house. I don't know why, because she's not trying to win. But, you know, she wants to be there and cares to some degree. Not enough to watch an episode of the show before going on. But, you know. Catherine isn't into the Catherine and Riley showmance? No, she's not. Why did she throw veto? Is she really confident in winning the power, the delusion? She's throwing the veto because she's trying to be Tucker. And the reason why Tucker was successful was because he benefited from comp beast privilege and he didn't care about winning the game. Kelley doesn't have the social gravity that Tucker has, the comp ability that Tucker has, charisma-wise. I don't know. Tucker certainly had more people around him. I can see Zach getting sniped like T-Core soon. I don't think they could be more different. Zach, seemingly so far, is in a different stratosphere as a player than T-Core, in my opinion. Thank you, Jerry, for the 5 gifted subs. I appreciate it. Granted, T-Core week 1 I was higher on than T-Core by the end, so maybe that'll be Zach. But Jerry, thanks for the 5 gifted. I appreciate it. Let me thank Rune Queen for the 20 months and Haley for the 20 months as well. I appreciate you. W gifted, that's right. I appreciate it, Jerry. How are you doing? 27 to the channel? They add up, huh? Yeah, Zach can get sniped at the final 9, perhaps. Were you gay then? I assume she means, were you out then? I don't know. Do you guys hear Vince? Do I have to mute? No, you don't. I think it sounds like a stacking competition of some sort, right? So, obviously, for you all who don't know, what happened was Keanu used his power, which allowed some former Big Brother player to come in and play the veto. Did that person, Casey, did she play in replacement of Keanu, or did they both play? I would hope they both played. Otherwise, that's weird. He called in a BB mercenary. Did they actually call it that? Because that's funny. They both played? That makes a lot more sense. Adrian was second. Got it. See, that's a real advantage. I am certain they probably made the comp pretty physical because they wanted the mercenary to win. You know what I mean? Kelley was running around the storage room at the possibility of Tucker being the veto player today. Here's the problem with Kelley. Like, and I feel weird being harsh to house guests because I know what it's like to get hate, you know, and even when it's not super personal or super like weird, like any type of hate hurts to read. Cory looks stupid in that shirt today. That sucks. I find Kelley incredibly annoying to watch. I just don't know the other word for it. It's like annoying and embarrassing. And that's mean. I'm sure she's a nice person, but like I have trouble watching her play. I think cringy is probably the word. Like that's the thing. It's not that she's a bad person. It's not that she's problematic. It's just annoying. It's annoying and it's kind of weird. And I don't just hearing myself say it. It feels like bullying, but like it's just uncomfortable to watch. I really don't like it. So yeah, I don't know what to say. Jimmy knows the wall comes about 10 people, but he keeps saying he hopes it's the HOH this week. Yeah, I mean, why not hope? I said a lot of things in the house that didn't make sense about like, oh, there's no double eviction here. There is double. You just speculate, you know. Grodner having a power workout. Well, power was fucking bound to work out when you're 5 of them. One of them will work. The way Quinn was given more shit for mentioning you once than Kelley is. I think Kelley's probably receiving criticism. I'm sure. And I just want to be very real. Can we be honest for a second? I was very consistent. You guys know how I felt about Tucker as a game player and just as a personality on camera. I met Tucker. Super, super sweet guy. No complaints. But you guys know how I felt about him, watching the show. If Kelley looked like Tucker, or looked like Zach, looked like Zay for that matter, Kelley would be the fan favorite. She'd be like 2 or 3 weeks away from winning AFP. And the audience would be split about loving her or hating her. Most of them loving. So I want to be conscious of that. I did not like Tucker. I was rooting against Tucker the entire time. So I feel like I have tried to be consistent, but the fan base's view on her is not consistent, is what I would say, generally. Nicole Anthony was a fan favorite. Look, if Kelley ends up being like the underdog and sticks around till the final 3, she'll become a fan favorite. Also, Nicole benefited from the people in power being genuine demons. Like devil incarnates. So, I'm not saying it's impossible, but, and Nicole also didn't play like Tucker. Like the analogy is Tucker, because that's what Kelley's doing. Just stupid game moves that make no sense for the sake of spectacle. She's pure chaos in the house. I don't agree. I don't agree. She thinks she's chaos. She's just the house target. Like what's the chaos she's doing? She's the house target and she's throwing competitions to continue. Like, there's not. She says she's instigating, but she's not instigating. That's why it's embarrassing. For what it's worth, and the only reason Tucker was able to do everything Tucker was doing, first of all, a lot of people had crushes on him, which I think you give him some credit for. But more importantly, he was running the house because of competitions. Like, he had vetoes, he had HOH, he was winning arenas. Kelley got one too. Tucker did a better job in not being a target. I don't think so at all. I mean, Tucker had a better week 1, but Tucker was just a target the whole time, but he won arenas to keep himself safe. Like, yeah, Tucker in threat management. I mean, he was as bad as it comes with that. He had people like deathly loyal to him needing to vote him out, Who's your winner pick at the moment? I think at this point, the smartest bet would be one of Zach, Mickey, or Vince. I think that is the smart bet at this moment. No way, Vince. I think he's the third person. His game will crumble soon. I don't think so. If he doesn't go on the block with like 5 nominees, it's pretty good. How much did you raise yesterday? Thank you for asking. I'll briefly flash. Actually, I don't know how to do this without like leaking my information. Campaigns. So, just for a little bit of housekeeping, I'll do this right now. So yeah, I mean, corywurtenberger donated $250, which is the amount of money I raised for the stream, from the stream. So again, that's your guys' money for the most part, which set us to the final goal of $5,850. So the goal was 1K. Whooped that goal's ass. Then it came back as a zombie. We whooped its ass again. You know what I mean? So, shout outs to you guys. Super, super grateful. And I know it's going to a good cause, to people who are in a desperate need of this support. So, not too much to say about that. Just awesome job. So proud of you all. So, back to Big Brother a little bit. I think Zach and Morgan are the front runners. I think Vince is right behind. That's my list. Did I say Morgan or Mickey? I meant Mickey. If I said Morgan. Zach and Mickey. And honestly, Jimmy, I think Jimmy's got. So here's my philosophy, right? Here's my thing. I am way higher on players who have a chance to win than players who don't have a chance to win. It's funny how that works, right? It seems so obvious. But I very often find people giving players who are positioned well much more credit than they deserve. Right now, in my opinion, Jimmy has unspeakably more win equity than Riley. Jimmy has way more win equity for me than Will, which I know that's a hot take because people think Will's positioned well. From what I've seen, there's like 5 players who can win. And sometimes, a wild card gets there. Sometimes there's a bitter jury. Sometimes someone emerges a little bit later in the game. But in general, like, there's players and then there's characters on the season who exist to get evicted at some point. Zach is a player who has a chance to win. Jimmy has a chance to win. Mickey has a chance to win. Vince has a chance to win. Even Lauren has a chance to win. I cannot envision a world where Will, Ava, Catherine, Amy, Riley, these players win. I don't see it. Truly. So while I agree with you, Optimum, like, Jimmy could be evicted next week in a way that Ava can't. I believe you. I also think Jimmy can win. Ava could possibly win. Yeah, no, and Morgan could possibly win, and Rachel could possibly win. Like, I think Rachel is probably bottom 5 win equity at this point. Like, what exactly does Rachel have going for her? She's one of the better players. I agree. Beyond that, like, she doesn't have allies, really. People actively don't want to vote for her to win. They don't want to take her to the end. They don't want her to go yet, but some people do. Thoughts on another HOH takeover power? I hate them, but at least this one has some form of counterplay. I hate it. Yeah, it's terrible. I think it's worse than Quinn's. Quinn's, I think, maybe had potential to be kind of interesting. No, I think this is better than Quinn's, because you're right. At least you could try to figure it out. Matt was one of the better players. Look where it got him. Are you comparing Matt to Rachel O'Reilly? Because I do not see that comparison. You're going to have to explain that to me. This cast is very honest, too. It does have the loyalty and integrity bug going around. People talk about it way too much. If she makes it to the end, she would deserve it, but it's not looking good. Yeah, if she makes it to the end, some shit had to happen. I mean, Rachel's gameplay has been super sloppy. It's been less sloppy than her other times playing. This is Rachel, guys. She's playing Rachel. Like, she spreads information to the wrong people, gets in trouble. The thing is, she was always able to bail herself out with comps. I don't know if she'll be able to do that anymore. And I feel like the only chance she had was to form kind of a cult, and she doesn't have a cult here. So it's going to be interesting. If she figures something out, a ton of credit to her. I worry that Zach's lack of game knowledge will come back to bite him. Who has more game knowledge than him? I would say like 4 to 5 house guests. Like, he's just in that pool of people who, like, have seen one season, max. But that's still, like, is not a ton of competition on that front. Saying Matt was a good player on 25, but people didn't care to vote for him when they had more enticing option in Jag. Most of the jury thought Jag was a better player than Matt. So, maybe you could say we're wrong, and that's a very fair argument you can make, but that was the perception. Like, a lot of it, like, Suri thought Jag was better than Matt, Cameron thought that. Blue thought that, Ashley didn't know Jag was evicted before he won. Ashley didn't know she was on Big Brother 27. Like, what are we doing? I appreciate Ashley more as time goes on. Not as a player. I think she's bottom 3 or 4 in the house in terms of just game ability. She's better than Keanu. She's better than Kelley. And then we start to run out of people. But, like, she is very active in doing stuff. Like, she annoys me a lot less than Amy, But she's terrible. Like, she's really, really bad. But I don't mind Ashley in there. Also, she's a very aggressive player, which I like. She has her like goal and she tries to pursue it. Amy didn't even campaign that much. Like she campaigned, but nothing crazy. Also, my hot take on Ashley is like she might not be the most fun person to live with. I saw Vince recounting his story about the laundry, and it sounds like one of those stories that someone would make up about Taylor and then hate Taylor for no reason. So you always want to be careful. But the Vince being like, I'm gonna go do laundry, Ashley. Ashley's like, oh, good idea. Runs to get her laundry and intercepts Vince and does it first. Like that's crazy behavior. But yeah, you think Rachel should fight so hard for Amy or just let it play out? I think she has to fight for Amy because even if Amy's low key gunning for Rachel, like who the fuck else can Rachel do anything with? The only thing Rachel can do is try to do like the Jimmy, Mickey, Will, Ava, like try to get those people, but they all kind of are loyal to Vince and Zach, and I think she needs Amy. She needs her side of the house to stay, but she also needs them to be on her side. It's kind of hard. Ashley heard Catherine vape for 7 years and was like, "Is that why your voices are raspy?" That is a crazy thing to say. What do you think Ava needs to do to get herself in a better position? Have more strategic conversations. It's so annoying. I hate not players like that, but like it's just such a frustrating thing. If Ava just doubled the amount of strategic conversations she had, let's say tripled, she would just be in a better spot, even if it's the same kinds of conversations with the same kind of people. Yeah, the 2 hour shower I think has been largely debunked. She lives in New York City, doesn't use public transportation. Hey, to each their own, but that is just tough. True or false? Vince's worst move is winning HOH in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I think it's fine. Like people clowned in his last HOH, I think for valid reasons, but he came out of it in a good spot. It'll probably just be annoying to watch, and he'd still be fine. For him, it's like just keep having power and have people have to come up to you. Ava's giving Meg, maybe similar like spots in the house, but personality-wise, they seem pretty different. I wonder if she comes from money. I have no idea. I mean, she says that she's like massively in debt because of law school, which that adds up to me. Like that's how that works. Jimmy getting Amy evicted, be evicting an ally. It's not even that much of an ally for Jimmy. To be honest, like I feel like it's kind of hard for Jimmy to go wrong. Keanu was the right target for him. Kelley's a good target for him. But like now, who cares? I think for me, it'd be like just get out the person you think is the biggest threat who you're not working with, which certainly isn't Amy, but like maybe it's just getting Riley out of the house. Like, what do you need Riley for? Maybe it's getting Adrian out of the house, but I feel like he thinks Adrian's good for him. So for Jimmy, it's just like make sure your relationships are good. Start doing damage control on Keanu and Kelley. Like, you got to get out in front of this. Jimmy and Amy hate each other, and it's so funny. I just don't understand Amy. And I don't really get Jimmy's side of things either, but at least Jimmy's trying. I think Riley's going to go up for sure. I think that's like the easy replacement nom. And then the one after that, if we need another one for Kelley potentially, that's where it gets kind of dicey. I don't know who that replacement nom is. So is our theory, by the way, that Kelley's competition is eviction night? Because that's how it feels to me. If it's not going to be during the veto, when else could it be? Jimmy's considering Will. Yeah, that makes sense. It's at the veto meeting. Okay. Amy and then Will. I mean, I haven't watched the feeds today, so I want to claim my ignorance there. But Amy, I've heard a lot. Will makes a lot of sense. Like, I'm sorry, Will. Like, why the fuck did he vote to keep Zay? That was just such a weird choice. I have a theory on this. I mentioned it on my live feed update. I don't know if these house guests understand that they're allowed to confirm their vote. Some people did, obviously, but this is a thing from BB26. And on 25, we were told the same thing. During the week of Mimi's eviction, they like cornered me in the diary room and said I was not allowed to say where I was voting, which led to some awkward-ass conversations that probably led to Mimi yelling at me out. Yelling is strong, but, calling me out as she left the house. 26, obviously much more recruits. They all were blindsiding each other for no reason. They blindsided like T-Core, the final 8. Why? Quinn, the final 9. Why? So I think this season, like, Will just never knew where the votes were going because he wasn't asking people and communicating. I don't know. Super, like, it literally seemed like he just made his choice and was hoping the votes would be that way, which is just so fucking silly. I don't get it. I think that was just the vibe because the arena. I mean, I've been told it was the opposite. Not the opposite, but like my story has some truth to it. Also, I've been in there. Like, I know what the rules are. Like, in the packet, you're not allowed to tell people about your noms and your voting and everything, but I've seen this show for a long time. Like, come on. You're not going to convince me. Will is a dud socially. He goes to bed like 6 hours before. Look, we all wanted Will and Ava and Adrian to be these active players playing the middle, and they are not that. Not yet. Who's the most active of them? I thought it was Will. I kind of have the most faith that Adrian might turn it on, but if he's not turning it on to convince him to not be a pawn, like Ava is she? God, Ava talks like less game than anyone, it feels. Not anyone, but she's up there. I'm meeting with Zach and Vinny last night. Yeah. I mean, she's the best position socially. I'll give her that. Will said he was a night owl in those interviews. He probably meant to like midnight, not till 2 a.m. Ava feels like the best person to drag to the end. Maybe. There's a long way toward that. I just think Vince and Zach have a fucking stranglehold over this game right now, which is so funny because, like, they shouldn't have that many numbers, but they kind of do. And I think they trust each other quite a bit as well. Like, the Vince, Zach, Lauren trio might be real. Like, because they've been talking about themselves as a trio and seeing if they can head in that direction. They seem like the power block in the game to me. I just wish Jimmy saw it more. But Jimmy really likes, Vince and likes Catherine much more than Lauren. I mean Lauren, not Morgan. But Lauren's not as, central as Vince and Zach. Yeah, no, Lauren right now is closer to Vince than Zach, for sure. Vince, Zach, Morgan. Yeah, Morgan's in that mix too. As long as you're the only one going to the bathroom, only one at a time. So just check with the other chatters. When do Lauren and Kat hit 10 confessionals this season? I mean, they could give Lauren some superfan confessionals. Oh my god, it's OTEV, it's like musical chairs, Catherine, it's hard to imagine how she gets confessionals. Catherine, I could see being a problem. Lauren's DRs would be Zach-centric. I mean, they could give her some of those, but I kind of doubt it. I don't think that's going to become a storyline unless they try to do the Lauren, Morgan, Zach love triangle, which I could see him doing if they got 90-minute episodes. Catherine's probably should be about Riley's crush. It's got like sinister undertones, so I don't know if they'll go there. How much did they show Caleb and Amber on the episodes? I don't remember at all. Catherine will also have a Leah-ish arc. She's doing a lot better than Leah, which is kind of crazy because Catherine's not doing that well. But I think people forget how dreadful Leah's early game was. And she got it together a little bit right before she got evicted, but her early game was rough. A lot more than you think, a bunch. They loved Beast Mode Cowboy, I guess, right? Yeah, look, I could see Adrian becoming a fan favorite. I think he's going to be an underdog because he doesn't talk to people in power. He only hangs out with Keanu and Kelley, which is like, talk about bad people to hang out with. Try to spin it comedically, yeah. I could see Adrian being pre-jury more than likely. I think right now that would be the smart bet. But here's the thing, like, you got to get rid of like right now, here's my pre-jury people. We lost Zay. Okay. We're going to lose Keanu pre-jury. We're going to lose Kelley pre-jury. That's 3. We have to get to, what, 8 to get to jury? It's pretty intense. You got to get to 8. All right, so those 3 I'm going to lock. I'm going to lock Amy. That's 4. Amy's gone. And now it gets a little bit tougher. I think Rachel is going to be pre-jury. I think Rachel. I'm going to say Riley, too. I think Adrian, Will, or Ava, they're not all making it. Yeah, I think Adrian's cooked. You know what? I think Adrian's not making jury. Because the thing is, he's a little threatening. Nah, I think Lauren makes jury for sure. I just think Lauren is like just a little bit too chill and solid. I could see Morgan being pre-jury 100%. I could see Morgan. And it kind of depends on how well Morgan's able to keep her connections with Zach and Vince, but I could see Morgan making it. And I could see Will going at pre-jury. I think Will, I could see. Will or Ava, one of the two. Right now, I think Will looks more in danger, but it's not super clear. Since you lost the first person on your draft, do you get Rachel? Nah, that'd be too broken. My draft is better than America's. We agree, right? I'll pull up the draft for you guys who don't know. And granted, like, we all knew America's draft was terrible. It was very fun. I appreciated her draft, but I think she was picking more so the people she liked. So here it is, right? So America has Lauren, which is okay. Keanu, terrible. Adrian, not great. Mickey's great. Got Mickey. Kelley, Amy, and Riley. And Ava's okay. I've got Jimmy, who I think is okay. Ashley's pretty rough. Zach and Vince and Morgan. And Catherine and Will. I lost Zay. Yeah, I think I'm winning this. I feel pretty good. And I will say, and this is, maybe you guys are just going to think I'm a Debbie Downer. I'm a bit of a cynic, a pessimist. But I don't know how good of a player Mickey is. It's all been good so far. It's just, I haven't seen enough, you know? I have nothing to criticize. She's doing well. She's doing well socially. But strategically, it kind of ebbs and flows. I don't know exactly where she's at. I don't love how all her allies are idiots, you know? She's been one of the best in the house. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not like saying she's been bad and people's reads are off. It's not that. It's just like I haven't seen enough. Here's the thing about Vince, because everything we've seen from Mickey and Vince, Mickey seems like a better player. 100%. I feel like I know what Vince is. I kind of feel like I know what Zach is. I don't know what Mickey is yet as a player. I don't know if she's just like really social and strategically isn't, you know, super active. She's tried to make alliances, which is much more than someone like T-Core did, right? Or who's another passive player? Like, not MJ, Chemo maybe, you know what I mean? Like, really good socially, but beyond that, how much, you know, is there? I don't know. Her telling Morgan about her power. To be honest, Mickey needs Morgan as her number one. That's an awesome number one person for Mickey. And I think Mickey's a little suspicious of Morgan, but that her sharing the power doesn't make sense for that. Like, it's more Amy and Ashley that are kind of anxious about Morgan. But for her to have Morgan, who's good with Vince and Zach and Lauren and them, and to have her in that end game is like a path. You know what I mean? Like, that's who Rachel has to hitch her wagon to. Honestly, what Rachel needs is fucking Amy or Ashley to leave and to get the other one under control. Like, those two are just... They're just, like, rough. Like, these should be her people, and they're just not. Rachel's good with Morgan, yeah. But Rachel's so linked with Amy. It's a huge risk to tell Morgan her power, but sometimes risk is needed. Yeah, this is not one of those times, but it's fine. People share their powers. I get it. I told America I played in Path to Power. If I won the power, would I tell America? Definitely not. I only told her once I knew I lost. I wouldn't tell America because that would force me into using it to save her, which I probably would have done, but, people share their powers. It's fine. I would be surprised if other players didn't. So did Kelley, so did Keanu, like, whatever. Do you think if Jimmy puts up Amy, Rachel would target Jimmy? I think it depends. I mean, if Jimmy talks to Rachel and tells her why she's doing it, Rachel better not target Jimmy. She's got much bigger fish to fry. Like, that would not be smart. My biggest fear for Vince is burnout. I'm not as worried about that just because, he seems pretty social. He goes out of his way to have a lot of conversations. I haven't seen him, melt down yet. And being HOH is a very high-pressure thing, and he didn't deal with it well, but he did deal with it. So it should be easier going forward. You were going to save her buddy. Let's not cap. Who's her buddy? Yeah, well, I wasn't saving Jag, I'll tell you that much. She had every chance to push back when Jimmy first brought up Amy. Look, for Rachel, at a certain point, how useful is Amy? I think Rachel needs Amy because she just doesn't have enough other options, but, losing Amy today is better than losing Amy yesterday, day before. We thought Ashley was going to be Hannah the whole time. She's Big D. Is she giving Big D? No, I think my read was right. She's MJ. I just think she's MJ. Super active, has a lot of ideas, wants to make those ideas happen, can't make those ideas happen, and she's lucky because those ideas suck. And she saved herself with a competition already. What Chelsea is actually looking for? I guess Mickey has to be it, right? Who else is close enough? It could be Rachel or Mickey, but probably Mickey. MJ without the comp ability. Yeah, she won a veto. She's 1 for 1 on vetoes. I'm not going to say she's... Maybe she might have it. I know she was an athlete before, so... She's way more blunt and has less of a filter than MJ. I don't think that's... I wouldn't say MJ was not blunt. I think MJ was a little bit more, willing to be convinced of things. At least by Chelsea and people. I feel like you haven't said much on Morgan. What I don't like about Morgan is whenever she's in a conversation, she's talking so much. She's the leader. You know what I mean? And she's a threat. I think she's transparently a threat in a way Mickey's not. But I do like Morgan a lot more than other people. I like her and Jimmy as a duo a lot. She's one of those high risk reward players. I could see her going out pretty soon. And I could see her making a super deep run. I think her locking in with Mickey is huge. Her locking in with Rachel is huge. I'm pulling for Morgan. I want Morgan to do well. I'm hoping the Zach shit doesn't derail her. You know what I mean? That concerns me. Just that she'll make some stupid decisions because she's feeling Zach, But I'm rooting for Morgan, for sure. Morgan might be a comp beast. She could. It's hard to say with the comps these days. They've been super, super equitable so far. The fact that Casey just won makes me a little bit concerned. Because, of course, Casey's one of the most physical players in BB history. In terms of what BB comps require, in general, Casey's a mega athlete. We've seen that. But, she's not huge. She's very quick. She's good balance. She's smart. Casey and Jag is, the right build. You don't want to be Keanu. Even Jackson Mickey I thought was too big. But he was, he made it work. Those could be the most inequitable comps of all time, to be fair. BB21. You right now, knowing everything going on in the house and look over Keanu's body, could you... And if I took over Keanu's body, could you win the game? You know all the alliances, what's been said, etc.? No, I don't think so. It's really hard to get out of a bad position. I mean, you'd have so much ammunition because Keanu could go to Jimmy and be like, or not Jimmy. He could go to Jimmy and say, "There's an alliance called the Burger Boys of these people that left you out." Like he could do a ton of stuff, but then there'd be a lot of questions being like, "Why do you know this? How do you know this?" And then that might get him in even more trouble. I'd be able to figure something out, but I would not be able to win. I think Keanu. I'm not a good enough player to play from a terrible position. I'm okay playing from a middle position, a bottom middle position, an upper middle position. I can't play from the bottom. It's too hard. Does Casey's win count for her record? Yeah, I think so. I think it should. I mean, why wouldn't it? I understand it's not like, but like, you know, she's competing in a veto. Rachel only did that because she feared Kelley has a diamond veto. God, that would be terrible. Keanu keeps lying to Jimmy about the vote. I fucking love Keanu. Keanu is my favorite house guest by a large margin. I met Rachel, so Rachel's my favorite person, but Keanu's my favorite. He's just so funny. And he knows the game way better than a lot of other people. Like, he's a recruit who watched seasons, which I appreciate. Production won't let her have a diamond veto when Rachel is at risk. You guys scream rigged so quickly. Keanu and Kelley have a better chance of getting on another reality show than 50% of the cast. Guys, Kelley's not going to be a fan favorite. I'm sorry. And a lot of it is sexist, but Kelley's going to be despised. I really feel like if Kelley sticks around long enough, she's going to have a really bad reception. First of all, people don't like overeager nerds. Ask Quinn. And Quinn has a ton of support. I think deservedly so, but that's an archetype that is not commonly popular. People criticize that archetype much more than ever before. Add to the fact that she's a woman, add to the fact she's probably going to have a ton of airtime making terrible moves and the edit's going to clown on her. What other show can she go on? What fits Kelley? You know? Kelley or Christine? Don't even compare the two. I get it in terms of Christine got a terrible reception, terrible edit, because of being in that archetype. But Christine's a good player. I'd say Christine's good, or at least average. Kelley's not that. Kelley going on the Genius. I think she's actually better for the challenge than the Genius. Kelley's more BB20 Sam than Christine. Yeah, I would say so. But she's not close to either of them, really. Quinn was good at playing to the cameras, didn't mind being a villain. Kelley cares too much. I think what people didn't like about Quinn sometimes was it felt like he was putting it on for the cameras, which I actually think is not true. He's a showman for sure, but that's Quinn. We've seen enough of Quinn. No, that's Quinn. So there's always ambiguity. Kelley, it feels like we have glimpses of real Kelley, and then most of it is performative fake Kelley, I think that's a bit of a different. Keanu targeting Will, it's an odd choice. Why? Kelley would be good in Wipeout. I'll give you that. Absolutely. I'll give you that. Kelley be playing very differently if the most recent season wasn't BB26. Who would she... I mean, no, she'd be playing like Cameron, right? Which Cameron... You have to understand. Cameron is in a different tier of gameplay than Tucker and Kelley. You know what I mean? Our Chaos Agent was not that chaotic. Mostly because our Chaos Agent wanted to win Big Brother. He just was terrible. But if she came in trying to play like Cameron, Chaos Cam went with the house most of the time, which I praise, not because it's the right move, but he's trying to give himself a chance to win, But comparing his chaos to these people, these people they just make stupid ass choices for fun, Is Tucker the most influential house guest in a decade? No, Derek Levasseur number one, but he could be two in terms of just. I mean, no one tried to play like Tyler or like succeeded playing like Tyler. I think Derek. Derek for seasons and seasons and seasons was like, you know, playing a certain role. Derek's 11 years ago. Okay, so I guess if you're it's specifically cutting off at Derek. Taylor, no, it's nothing. I mean, why would Taylor be? Taylor can never be that influential because her game is too hard to replicate. Like, you know, you can't replicate Taylor's game, and if you do, that's a bad strategy. Like, Taylor, I don't want to say got fortunate, but like playing from that bad of a position at the start, it's hard to get out of that usually. But if it's not Derek, is there someone who influenced gameplay more than Tucker? Tiffany, no. It's not like a ton of people want to play like Tiffany and do that. I think the only names that I would consider are Tyler and Paul. Like season 19, everyone wanted to be Paul, but Paul was actually also there, so that was weird. But I think Tucker, because his playstyle was so distinct, is going to have the most people playing exactly like that. Did you mention Cody? I don't think Cody is exactly innovative or anything. Like, Cody just did what Derek did and did what Jackson Mickey did, and a much better version, but, like, he just big alliance comp beast. Like, if anything, Cody just did Derek's game again. Franzel, nah. Recruits say his name all the time. Yeah, but, like, I don't think they try to play like him. Like, I don't think he's very influential in that way. He's a very common answer, though. But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like when people try to play like Tucker, you see it. And it genuinely changed the way the game is played. For the worse. Entertainment and gameplay-wise, for me. I'm begging for a Keanu HOH. Oh, my God. Does Kelley liking Tootsie Rolls make you like her more or less? I do not like Tootsie Rolls. I'm not necessarily anti-Tootsie Rolls. I don't mind Tootsie Rolls. But I think I'm generally not going to have a Tootsie Roll unless it's given to me. Keanu HOH would be BB16 Devin energy. Yeah, but like what if Devin was never in the power structure, you know? Kelley's Lex Luthor. We're seeing Superman today. The Summer Ween episode of Gravity Falls. I've watched a lot of Gravity Falls with America. It's always in the background. Do you think there's a high chance of Adrian going home this week? Yeah. I would say less than 50%. Probably somewhere between like 20 and 35%, but it's a real possibility. Like, I think he has less chance of going home than like the average nom, but he's in danger. I mean, shit, if Kelley comes off the block, Keanu comes off the block, it's him, Riley, and Will, or him, Amy, and Will, or something. Why not vote out Adrian, you know? He seems to be a good competitor as well. He did well in the night one comp. He got second in this veto, apparently. Like, he's a good competitor, so, like, he could win the blockbuster, he could just get the votes, but this is not a week where you want to be a pawn. This is scary. Do you think the veto was rigged for Casey? No. Rigged is always the wrong word. I do think they probably wanted to design a comp that Casey would do well in. Like, I don't think they would do a booth comp with Casey. So if you consider that rigged, I guess so. But I think that's the wrong word. The comp was ready, set, go. So this is the relay race one? With the one that Christmas won? Did you do a backflip when Rachel screamed chicken jockey on the feeds the other night? I did not. That is funny, though. Jimmy false started. Interesting bringing back that comp. I was talking about that comp coming back on our season. It involved grip and jumping as well. Okay, well. You know. Again, rigged is the wrong word, but I hear you. Do you know if the power needed to be used, this veto? I mean, probably. It had to be used this veto, right? Because they're not just going to keep Casey on standby. We would have been cooked? Nah, I would have won that one. for sure. Ava did better than expected. Nice. How's the bingo card? We have to make it still. But we can look and see what we've crossed out. Does she live near LA? Casey? I would assume so, based on really nothing, but, you know, she does TikTok lives a lot. And one Big Brother. Usually they're in LA. Who's the worst ally? Caitlyn BB20 or Kelley 27? I think Caitlyn is... Well, it depends. Caitlyn was a good ally for some people. I think Kelley's probably a better ally because she'll go home before you, whereas Caitlyn, people have a better ability to use Caitlyn against you. How do you use Kelley against? Like, they tried to turn Kelley on Vince and them, but Kelley would just report back to Rachel. Keanu's campaign against Will. He's been on this tirade trying to frame Will for the vote, even though Will did vote that way. It's super odd. She lives in San Diego. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, I've done that drive. How does an episode bingo card work? What do you mean? You just put all the things on a bingo card. Ours wasn't episode centric. It was all things. Episodes and feeds. The replacement nom, Matt, is looking like Amy is very solidly a replacement nom. And then if they need a second, maybe Will or Riley, perhaps. You guys need to do episode ones. Yeah, we could. I'm down. I like talking. She and Nani lived there and she moved back to San Diego when they broke up. Oh, in LA. They seem on good terms, which I'm glad about. Morgan has close relationships with all of your top three. Why do you think she's a tier below them? Because she has people looking at her as a potential target. I think Ashley and Amy have mentioned it. Morgan also has less of a connection to, like, Lauren and Catherine. The one thing she has going for her, she has Rachel, but it seems like that side is losing. Right. Vince wants Ashley up. Yeah, Vince should be campaigning for Ashley to go up. That's a good call for Vince. I mean, Ashley is one of the only people who I think straight up nominates him. Do we know how Kelley's power works? We assume it's like Leah's power last year, the janky veto, where you do a little competition, and if you win, you get the veto. And you do it at the veto meeting, apparently. Veto ceremony is when it happens. Got it, Electro. Be quick, though. What if it's the Caitlyn puzzle? I think she'll fail the Caitlyn puzzle. She didn't get rattled during the blockbuster, which is a good sign, but it's kind of hard to get rattled in that comp. Like, it's not super involved. Do you think Adrian survives the block versus Amy? Right now, yeah. Amy's bad. Amy's really bad. I don't care for Amy. I think Amy has no allies, really. I mean, Jimmy's putting her up. What the fuck is that about, you know? But when it gets there and it's like, really? We're voting out fucking Amy? That's a waste. But she was hyping up her playing the blockbuster, said it was the easiest thing she's ever done. I think anybody who wins that competition will think it's the easiest thing they've ever done. Because realistically, you're just reading words and then picking up the item. It's just you're racing against people, so nobody's going to bat for Amy except Rachel. Rachel might stop, too. If one person just tells her that Amy's shit-talking her, that's it. That'd be a fun confrontation. Rachel versus Amy. Last week, I'd be devastated to lose Amy. This week, I'm like, I don't think people cared about Amy. I think they cared about Zay leaving. Or they cared about Rachel, you know? I have yet to find someone who was, like, passionately hoping for Amy to stay. Keanu's pitching for Will to go up. It's all fucking Keanu does. Anyone Keanu pitches for is less likely to go up. I wonder if there was a rule in that blockbuster that you were only allowed to carry like one thing at a time. Because I think I would have run and just picked up stuff to hold. You know? Because if someone's going for it, I'm be like, oh, it's probably right. Nope, mine. You know? First hour stream flew by. Only going to be live for another 15 minutes. It's a very short stream. I just wanted to check in, talk about the veto for a bit, because we're seeing Superman at 8:50, which is in about 50 minutes. Let me do my player rankings. So this was HOH rankings. This was not, like, actual rankings. We're going to see where everyone stands these days. Okay. So, first up, we will rank. I'm going to go in order of how I have them. We're going to go Rachel. I think I'm willing to put Rachel in danger. The path to winning is looking more and more impossible as time goes on, which is kind of crazy. But I think Rachel is in a lot of trouble. I don't see a lot of people going to bat for her. I don't think she's a great enough player to be able to overcome that. She needs to turn up comp ability, which I really hope she has. That'd be sick. A Rachel HOH would be fire. But, yeah. Are they only able to lock in once the AI arena? What if they all miss? What are you talking about? Oh. Yeah, that's interesting. I think if everyone missed, they would send them to go again. Maybe there wasn't even that many items. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have a contingency. I'd say okay, considering people want to take her to jury. It's just like, if you couple the immediate danger she's in with how the fuck does she actually win the game, jury vote-wise, and just getting to the end-wise, like, it's enough for me to not feel like she's okay. You know? Alright, Zach. It's a front-runner. Easiest front-runner of all time. I don't know how good he is at the game yet. I think he's very good at conversations, one-on-ones, which is huge. I think that's a good sign. He has an overpowered power, so he's safe till jury, basically. Relationships-wise, he's as good as anyone. He's in the dominant alliance. Even though he was blindsided, theoretically last vote, he's still in a good spot. There's not much of a reason to be low on Zach. So again, I don't want you to... I'm not acting like he's a great player. I don't know if he is yet, but he's doing well. Vince... I'm going to stick with this. This is just my take. I'm higher on Vince than most people. There's not that many good players this season. There never is. And I think he's in a good spot. I think he's got more people gunning for him than Zach. I think I'd put Zach above Vince. But I love Vince's one-on-one conversations and his one-on-one relationships. Because I'm going to be honest, and this is maybe a stupid take, I think he's working really well on Ashley. Like, him and Ashley talk all the time. And if Ashley wins HOH, I don't think he's dead, necessarily. And I think Vince has the respect of a lot of the other house guests as a player and as a personality in there. So, this is my take. I think Vince is doing very well. All right, let's go on to Riley, who I think is definitely danger. Worse than Rachel. He has no chance of winning the game. I want to put him in Yikers. He's just too safe right now. But it feels like he has literally no head for the game and no idea what he's doing. And even if he did know what he's doing, he doesn't care about what he's doing. Just what's the appeal for Riley at this point? Even this week, he's lost a lot of ground socially. Even if he doesn't get nominated, his time is borrowed. He might make it very far. He could be in the end game, but winning, I think, is borderline impossible. Morgan, I'm going to put as a contender. I think she's a high-risk contender, but she's a very active player who has a lot, not a ton of connections, but a lot of meaningful connections. Her connection with Zach and Vince and Rachel just puts her in a great, middle-ish position. She has people gunning for her, but I think she could survive the block. I think she could win comps to save herself. I just think she has a lot of outs. I would just love for her to work a little bit more with the people in the middle. Ava, Will, Adrian. Because eventually she might need to make a move on someone. And I don't know if she'll have the numbers to do that. Her connection with Jimmy is huge as well. And Mickey. She's basically connected only to the important players and not to the periphery people, which is a lot better than the alternative, but I just want to see her work on some of those randoms a little bit more, you know? But I think Morgan's doing well. Mickey. I think she's a contender. I just have less information about Mickey. I feel like I don't know her game as well as I do these other three. She's positioned perfectly. I just think a lot of her allies suck ass at the game, and she doesn't know the game super well, so I'm not confident she can, like, Vanessa Russo strategize her way to the end, right? Like, it's probably going to be, like, a very social game with, like, important, decisive, strategic moments. But if, like, her allies start dropping like flies, I could see her getting, like, 5th, 6th, 7th pretty easily. Her power's huge. Her power's huge. I did forget about this. Honestly, her power is pretty huge. I'm thinking of just doing this. You know what I mean? I'll keep it like this, though, but her power is a big deal. Yeah, I could see it. You know what? I'll give it to her. Innocent until proven guilty. She has a game-breaking power that can save her if she's ever in danger. I prefer Zach's power, personally, even though her power is better, but, like, what annoys me about Zach's power is there's no risk or decision he has to make, because he uses it after the replacement nom. You know what I mean? So, like, it's literally like the God idol, in Survivor, the Tyler Perry idol. And he hasn't told anyone, which is really good. Nah, I'm doing this. I'm sticking with my gut. Lauren. She's okay. I think she's destined for the end game. And I think she is a type of player who could get the respect of the jury because she's well-spoken, she's liked, she knows the game well, so she kind of hopefully knows jury management and just to talk up her game and stuff. But I don't think she's very good. Like, strategically, I don't like the conversation she has. It never makes me feel comfortable if I was her ally. And she's aligned with the right people, but there are some people looking at her. I'm slightly concerned about Lauren. And her just being super wishy-washy and indecisive in the middle is not a good place to be. Does anyone see Ashley low-key looking like Hannah right now? They have a similar face. I'm just looking at her right now, and I'm like, they kind of look alike, right? Everyone says that. I'm not online like that, but that is funny. Interesting. Okay. Next up, we have Kelley. I don't have much to say. I don't know if she goes home this week, but she's going home. She's going home at some point. Definitely the worst player of the season. Keanu. Yeah. I don't know. I love Keanu, but I mean, he's got to have as little win equity as you could possibly have. But I'm rooting for my guy. I'm a big fan. Hopefully she contributes to BB unlike Hannah. That's a hot take. I love Hannah. I think she was fun. She was a little bit like, she wasn't the most explosive player, but give me Hannah over Ashley any season. Smart player trying to win. I love that. Why is Amy crying? She does that sometimes. She did nothing all season. She was in a good position all season. Like, I find it hard to criticize players like that. Like, I don't think Hannah was going to make big moves to make big moves. And she had win equity, you know. Like, I don't blame her. Catherine. She's okay. I think slightly, like, I think she's in a worse position than Lauren, but I actually kind of like the way she plays more than Lauren. But the problem is she just has the wrong connections. Like, she's not as in with Zach and Vince, but she is in with Jimmy. And I think you'd rather be with Zach and Vince than Jimmy. But her and Lauren are in a similar spot. We'll see. Her little beef with Ashley is not productive for anyone. Her or Ashley, so she should figure that out. Because why the fuck did they have to target each other? It was like me and Blue, though. And I get, like, I made some moves against Blue at times and put her, like, I get that. But, like, it was always like, but all of our problems would be solved, Blue, if you and I just both agreed to not target each other right now. We'd both our positions would skyrocket if we just agreed, you know? And I feel like for Kelley and Catherine, or not Kelley and Catherine, Ashley and Catherine, it's like, why? Just stop. Stop fighting. It's fine. But some people just don't gel, I suppose. Jimmy, this is a hot take. This is my hot take. Look, I think it's more likely Jimmy goes out pre-jury than makes the final five. I think that. But I do think Jimmy has a really good relationship with Morgan, has a really good relationship with Vince, a good relationship with Mickey, and these are the important players who are going to make the important decisions. Really, who are Jimmy's problems? Kelley and Keanu. Maybe one of these people he has to put up. Like, you know, and to be honest, this HOH hasn't been that chaotic. Like, he made easy noms. He's made a ton of mistakes with his information. He's been giving out way too much knowledge for no reason. Talking about his, like, 3 ideal replacement noms before the vetoes even played is ridiculous. But, you know, and he's doing well in comps. Yeah, he won an HOH. He won that night 1 comp, which is kind of a weird one. But, you know, I like Jimmy. And I think he has a chance to win. He's playing hard. He's building alliances. He knows the game more than basically everyone else. Win comps. Like, well, you know, I don't think he's going to win, but I think he has more of a shot than most. Zay, poor guy. Will. I mean, he's in between okay and danger, but I'll give him okay. I currently believe Will is more of a non-factor than a person playing the middle. That's my read on things. He's more of a person just in the middle trying to figure out what the fuck to do more than actively maneuvering at all. So, that is my read on Will. I'm kind of bummed. I hope Will can turn it around somehow. Him just voting to keep Zay and not even lying about it. He lied for a little bit, but it's just worried. He's in danger thanks to Keanu. I don't think that matters that much, but he could be in danger this week. I just think I feel like he has more of a chance to win than anyone below him. Okay. Ava is also okay. Same exact situation as Will, just a little bit less in danger right now. So, just a, better spot than Will, but not nearly enough to be a contender for me. All right. Ashley. I think she's actually okay, right? Like, I think she's a pretty bad player, but I don't think she's in as much danger as you think she should be. And I think she, unlike Rachel, has like a kind of clear path to win the game. Not a clear path, but like there's not a ton of obstacles in front of her. Rachel has to get over so many hurdles. She's definitely below Rachel. Rachel's a better player, but Rachel has a lot of baggage that I think Ashley doesn't have. And while you guys say like Ashley's playing terribly, playing well is not a prerequisite to winning Big Brother. There's a lot of circumstance. I mean, MJ should have won last season. It was totally in her hands to win. Jag Baines won season 25. Taylor's HOH was one of the worst HOHs I've ever seen. You know what I mean? It was similar to Vince, where like she actually came to an okay conclusion, but based on that week, you'd be like, Taylor is a terrible player. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be, really good and level-headed all the time to win. The jury might dislike her. Yeah, that's to be more concerning than the strategic stuff is the social stuff. But yeah. Look, she's between danger and okay, but I'll give her okay for today. Amy, yikers. In every sense of the word. Every sense, bad player, bad position, passive, trust the wrong people, bad reads, can't win comps. floater. There's nothing to praise about Amy. Adrian, I have to put in danger because he can go home this week. And there's a clear path to him going home this week. I have more faith in him than someone like Ashley or even Will. But he just could go home in a couple days. How's America feeling about Amy? America is the same as me. She's maybe a little less strong, but she's out on Amy. When will the Amazon finale be posted? We just watched it. So I'm going to be posting it tomorrow. Tonight. I'll try to edit it before the movie so we can post it at the movies. But yeah, it's recorded. Just to talk about my life in the Patreon for a little bit. I'm going to keep this brief because I feel like I said my long spiel earlier, yesterday. But I don't think we're going to cancel the Patreon or end it. We're going to rework it in some ways, I think, to do less live stuff just because that is less fun because people are mean and weird and whatever. I just want to talk big picture to you guys, the audience, for a second. How I don't even know how to say this. Like, we're getting a lot of new cameo requests and patrons and all this stuff, right? And like, it's not like we've upped the content dramatically, and it's so much better now than it was before. And we're getting a lot of people asking about our lives and our relationship and stuff like that. And again, some of these people seem like fans. They are fans. They've been fans. Whatever. America and I are happy together. We're moving to Boston. We're in a relationship. We're not staying together for money. Like, all that stuff I think is silly. It's just like, you got to chill. It says, I understand you guys being curious and wondering stuff and whatever, and I maybe it's my job to reassure, but I don't frankly, when it comes to my relationship, I don't care what you guys think. Because if I did, that would be very unhealthy for me and America. So I'll say this once. I'm not going to say it every time because I don't owe that to anybody, but we're together and happy, and that's it. So like, because I understand, like, when I don't say that, everyone assumes the opposite, even when we're filming stuff together and hanging out in stream, and people could tell the vibes are off. It's like, you guys are just fucking losers. I don't know what to say. Understand when I say you guys, it's, directed towards some people. But yeah, that's it. What's the next rewatch? I don't know. If we do Big Brother, I think it's going to be BB Can 5. If it's Survivor, that's a bigger question. Maybe Pearl Islands, maybe Cagayan, something like that. She wants to kind of watch them in order. Feeling like you're slowly drifting away from making content? Not really. Maybe scaling it back a little bit for me, just because law school. But I think really I'm going to commit to Twitch. I'll stream a few times a week, and that'll be my thing. That'll be my creative outlet. And the Patreon should stay relatively similar, but we'll update you guys. Are you still doing the podcast? Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to talk about our life less in it. More about, more topics. More rewatch type content, less live be the move. We might do like a TV show rewatch I've been talking about. I think that could be fun. Start law school in August? Yes, like the 27th or 8th. It's weird. I feel like it's a weird thing of like, I don't owe you guys anything. I don't, truly. But I am appreciative. I feel like sometimes when you try to go so hard in one direction of like trying to get away from parasocial relationships, sometimes you just come off as cold and disrespectful, and I don't mean to be that. So I just want to clarify that. Like, I do mean it. I don't owe you anything, and I don't know you guys really. Like, but I do appreciate you, like, genuinely, especially coming off that charity stream. Like, there's a lot of good. So I just want to clarify that. I feel like sometimes I go too far in the other direction, and it just comes off as like cold and like I'm an asshole. So okay, that is the stream. Always ending on a good note with me. But what a fucking like crazy day of feeds. We were watching the Amazon finale and like frantically like refreshing for veto results. I don't like how twisty the season's been so far, but whatever. Like Big Brother, you just have to be along for the ride. You know, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Forget about the integrity of the game and your faves and your least faves. Just you just sit there and enjoy. And this house is a lot of people are scheming. I think I'm a little worried. I'm hoping they get a lot of non-schemers out soon, but it's been pretty good. After BB26, this is how it'll be now. Maybe. Do you watch Dexter Resurrection? I've watched the first 2 episodes, and I've liked it so far, even if it's super goofy how they made the plot happen, you know? That's why Amy can go this week. I'm a big Amy should go this week advocate. That is my desire. But to be honest, I don't care if Amy goes, really. Or Adrian. Like what? What has he given me? I have like more faith that he might end up being a player, but that faith is based on literally just preseason interviews. Nothing I've seen in the house implies he's going to play at all. And I'm fine with Kelley going too. I'm fine with Riley going. I'm fine with Will going, to be honest. Like everyone who's on the block or on the board potentially being on the block, I'm fine with them leaving. The only people I'm like actively enjoying watching is like Keanu, Rachel, Jimmy, Vince, kinda Zach, Morgan for sure, Mickey. Like those are the players I want to make deep runs. Even Ava. I enjoy her personality, but like I'm not getting that much from Ava. Okay, but that'll be it. I have to get ready for Superman.